900,000. 909,000. That would be enough, wouldn't it? But no. 909,681 people. That is the number that is believed to have died in Afghanistan and Iraq alone. 303 times the amount of people who were killed in September 11th. 375 soldiers have died just this year. Why? Many people stop to ask this question, but few actually look at the facts and see what happened. To really understand why the Middle Eastern states have been put in this path of war, you must first look at the outside influences, the destabilized government, and most of all, terrorism. The outside influences in this conflict that made this situation all span back to imperialism. For Iraq, it was part of the many states that was carved up during the imperialistic times. But in 1930, Iraq made a bout for their own pseudo independence with revolts against Britain. Eventually, they were able to gain that independence. However, they were still heavily linked to Britain. And when they attempted to break free and expel Britain completely, Britain forced them to rejoin them. Protesters in the society, were even peaceful or violent, were often banned and imprisoned under Britain's rule of Iraq. For example, the Artisan Association, a union organized a month-long boycott of British-owned Baghdad Electric Light. Most of them were banned or imprisoned for a boycott. By 1940, Britain did have a complete and utter reinvading, though that was because of Iraq's bout to join the Axis of powers during the World Wars. Rinse and repeat, and you have the situation of Iraq today, a constant struggle to gain independence and be forced back into someone's oppressive rule, a battle to keep their own self, or to deal with the outside influences. The history of imperialism also reaches out and has caused and birthed the Taliban, the once ruling faction of Afghanistan. In 1979, Afghanistan was invaded by the Soviet Union. A figurehead ruler was put in place, and this figurehead ruler was rebelled against with the help of US, Pakistan, China, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. However, when this happened, there was a complete and utter power vacuum leading to multiple militia fighting. This power vacuum led to a war-torn country. Pakistan supported the Taliban in order to protect their trade routes. This continued, and the Taliban eventually gained control over Afghanistan after this happened. Even though we know what happened from the past, we must also look at the destabilized government to truly see what's going on today. There's no stability left in this government. Iraq has gone through 7 governments since 1920. Many leaders took their power, most of the leaders took their power violently, and all the other ones did it through outside influences. The governments have been generally violent, chaotic, and usually meant to help the rich or to support an idea of religious helpfulness. The governments set up, or generally set up by Britain, at times Russia, and many other of the European states. Radical groups also end up taking power, much like the Taliban and Saddam Hussein, who was also backed by us at one point. Terrorism ends up being brought forth because of the fact that the people no longer want us there with our outside influence, simply because we generally cause more problems than good. The terrorism prevents outside aid because we cannot trust bringing our people into that country, and it also prevents us from being able to help them and cause confusion. It also hinders outside industries from bringing in money to the country so it can stabilize itself and stabilize its economy. To review my points, it is the terrorism, destabilized government, and outside influences that cause this situation. And that is why the government of Iraq and Afghanistan are in the states they are today.